But I'll ask that party to make a distinction between mandatory expenses and discretionary expenses. If you send me to go to the market and buy you groundnut, and give me the money for the groundnut, but no money for transport, you say, oh, I'm a volunteer, I love you. I love you, but I may get tired on the way. And the danger is that your enemy may give me a ride, and I'll say, wait, why am I even suffering all of this? They have to recalibrate the conception of I know they give shishi to mean we will not bribe or spend money to subvert the process, but we'll deal with necessary costs for those who will work for us. I've had to run a program. You know, the program was a youth program, and it was even in his state. The youth, we had so many volunteers. I said on the budget, the ushers are going to be paid $5,000 per day. Somebody pointed out that, you know, they are volunteers. I said, fantastic. All of us can pay our bills. These are young boys and girls with no real means of income. They'll what will it cost us? Let them know the value. The reason is that when you pay them for the cost of moving around, you'll be able to separate those who are greedy from those who want to work. But when you force everybody to pretend to be nice, oh, I don't eat. Meanwhile, he's carrying a spoon in his pocket, watching out for any stray plate that nobody is watching so that he grab a few grains. That is the part of the problem of that party and that group and that movement. It is good to be organized. It is, even now, there's no narrative anymore. That conversation must migrate the personality of Peter Obi out of conversation into the ideals that a government run by him will represent. That's number one. Number two, they must develop legs on the ground. Number three, and most critically, they must structure their funding clearly and tie it to specific things that enable parties to develop. It's not whenever there's anything to be done, you begin to find out, oh, this person will have to buy the ticket for him, so remove him from the list of those who are traveling. As long as they go on like this, they will also contest in 2027. No, they will participate, but they will not contest. That's in the element of the Obidient movement, Peter himself, and the rest of it. They are not preparing to displace APC because you're talking about a party that used fantastic strategy as opposition, demarketed the PDP comprehensively, demarketed Jonathan comprehensively, sometimes without data, claiming, oh, once we come in, we'll have $1 to $1. Successfully did that. He came to the primaries, contrary to everybody's expectation. Tinubu got the ticket. He came to the election. Oh, so he's a walkover. How can he? He has lost. He won the election, no matter the means. People are still seething with anger about the method, but the truth of the matter is that if you're going to displace or take on such a person, prepare for the fight. If you want to go into boxing or wrestling, prepare for wrestling. Don't go and prepare with wrestling skills for boxing. Then when they defeat you, say, oh, the man was too violent. Are you not the one who said you want to fight? So I think this delusional element of hoping that applause from the people will give you the presidency, it will not. Three factors.
No. He started very well, but he ended it very poorly. He's practically just trying to talk more about yet to be proven obedient structure. On the one hand, he is there to also point out the ambition of the individuals involved in their coalition. So he missed the entire point, the way he ended it. But it made a lot of sense too. Let's give that to him. Being able to put out, because number one, these guys continue to say they are not even talking about whose ambition or whose, and in fact, they have reached a sort of like a compromise that they would be willing to drop their own personal ambitions. So just to make their coalition work and also get rid of Tinubu. Peter Obi himself came and said he's not desperate. I mean, if the offer on the table there to actually be one force is for him to run for just one term, he will take it. He's willing to do that. Now, all this talk can be referred to as political talk. I agree. But then you can also base your own assessment on what say, like just what you imagine or what you assume, ignoring what has been said. Now, you need to trash what has been said first with something probably stronger, like a stronger argument that says, oh, they said this, but this is, you know what I mean? It's not doing any of that. But critically assessing, every group and their weak point quite works well. So nobody should, in fact, it is a reverse psychology for anybody to continue to say social media don't win election whenever they are addressing the obedient. It is actually insulting. Let's be honest. They said it is because of experience, lack of adequate resources or enough resources made it easier for Tinubu to run roughshod on the back of the system, and is their president today. Now, you can say that and say, well, based on what has happened, nobody should no elderly person should look at them and say, polling booth is not, polling unit or voter, polling ballot box is not on social media. Like, who are you talking to? The same group, the same movement, despite them not having that spread structure, they thrown the entire establishment into chaos. They were rigging election with numbers that never match, and they didn't care. It never used to be like that, is it? So they managed to disrupt the system that the entire establishment made a sort of like a generational mistake, that today Tinubu remain an illegitimate president, and today you can attest to that. As much as you might want to beat it down by saying, but and so he's the president today, the blah 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 blah. Social media don't win elections. They defeated APC PDP in Lagos. That they had to rig it. They had over 1 million votes. Tinubu had less than 150,000 votes. You saw the rigging, you saw everything. Alimosho local government, the strongest base of the APC in Lagos, they were neutralized. They were beating blue-black. Come on, man. You don't address such people and say social media don't win election. Like, who are you talking to? Like, who do you think you are? Berating what they did. Yeah. Their inexperience worked against them, fine. But you can sit down there, an armchair critic, analysis, and look at them and say, social media don't win election. Defeated APC, Egbekebe defeated PDP. In Abuja, they defeated a 24-year senator in Abuja. You know this story. Anyway, whether their coalition will work or not is a different ball game. Now, his analysis or his assessment of their obedience, when it comes to their structure challenging the establishment like they did in 2023, he may be right about that. The situation in that place is no longer about, we know they give shishi. There is election costs, logistics, not because you want to bribe people. No. So yeah, he's right on that. So, for those who are already members of the coalition, Bolaji Abdullahi has this to say about Tinubu's regime, then about their coalition plan that kicks off today.
You, former minister, yes. Those who have served this country and we are still where we are today, why should Nigerians listen to the coalition that is made up of former that, former this, those who have attempted and experimented with Nigeria, and yet Nigeria is at this stage? The big question that he asked is, why should we listen to you in the coalition?
Okay. I mean, this is a very interesting question, right? One thing we should also ask, which I'm going to ask you, that's what is called the political class. Politics is played by politicians, right? You're not going to go and bring someone, a farmer, a business, a banker or something. You're going to, politics is played by politicians, right? And politicians are in their respective parties, right, to contest election. And as a result, they form governments at one point or the other. Or you say they have failed at one point or the other, and I'm not debating that with you based on what judgments or what parameters you are using, right? And I agree with you to a very reasonable extent that a lot of things have gone wrong over the past. But when that happens, then what should we do? What should we do? We'll go to Ghana and bring politicians? Or we'll go and manufacture another set of politicians from Saudi Arabia?
So that's the question, that those who could not be part of this government, by way of them thinking that they've been left out, are angry because all they know has been government.
No.
And now They are playing politics of opposition because they feel sidetracked or sidelined.
No, I think you are wrong. I mean, he's wrong. I listened to him and I tried to Google him. I couldn't see much. I don't know what he has done before.
He ran for election.
I mean, yeah, that's the only thing I saw about him. I Googled him. I couldn't see anything I could hold on to. I saw his age. I'm only like 6 months older than him. So why is he here forming youth? I'm 56, right? And I'm a professional. I'm a journalist. I was deputy editor of these day newspapers. I had a job. I'm a professional, right? So why, and I can count people in that place who we can see that if you Google their name, something will come up. I Googled his name, I couldn't see anything. And he's talking, oh, these people, they're in Nigeria. But what I'm saying is this: if politicians have done things in the past and they have failed, right? Unfortunately, we can only go back to politicians. And we can only invite Nigerians, right? But what we are saying to ourselves is this: even the most consummate, what you need to do is to build a system that ensures that everybody complies. Now, if you build a system that ensures that everybody plays by the rule, if you build a political party that is capable of disciplining its own members, right? There was no time in this country where you had politicians misbehaving one way or the other. But when political parties are not able to discipline their own representatives, let me tell you what's happening now. An individual gets elected on the platform of a political party. Maybe he becomes a governor on the platform of a political party. Then he funds the party. Then he becomes the master of everything. Then the party loses the capacity to discipline that individual because he has now become a governor. Whereas the party is the mother of the governor. The party is the mother of the president. But what we have seen in recent years is that the reverse is the case, right? The parties are at the mercy of their own elected officials, right? And what we are saying is that can we try to give ourselves a chance? Can we try to build a party?
Can Nigerians believe you people?
You know, when people shake hands, that's the logo of our party. When people shake hands, they have an agreement, right? We say we want to try to give Nigeria, one, an alternative. God forbid we arrive at 2027 and there's no alternative. That is one. Two, we want to build a political party that would last every one of us. Call it, maybe you can even say, if you want to be cynical, you can say we are trying to atone. No problem. But we say we are trying to be a party of rules. And if you listen to our chairman today, he say a party where everyone will be equal, where members will be supreme, right? That is why some of us are there, right?
So we should jettison the renewed hope agenda and do what? We should renew and another hope.
Well, I don't know if you want to, what you are doing with hope. We've not said hope. Hope is not the...
Because hope is a standard gauge of political engagement.
But look at where the hope has led you now. In 2 years, hope has become hopelessness. You know? I mean, look at the parameters. Right. Look at the parameters. You know how people are dying every day in this country because people are entering their house and shooting them, and government is doing merry like Christmas.
You won't need a car to travel. You won't need an aeroplane to travel. You will just say, I want to go to London. And you'll be in London. Whether you believe it or not, the time is coming when you won't need.
I mean, they are always there to atone for what they did to Nigeria. But come on now, like, which would you prefer? No alternative to Tinubu. They should remain in their disarray. Tinubu having his field day, or have an alternative of thieves, career criminals, and of course, Peter Obi, that they say is, I mean, the cynics will call Saint Obi. Do you understand? So the option is now going to be before you. But what they are telling everyone now is that to face Tinubu is beyond being popular. It is beyond even being voted for. Right? It is actually making sure that the vote count and is protected. So you are going to need us. You're going to need them, the career criminals. Oh, he said more, just so that we'll balance it, go to left, right, center. It's going to be a long night, but an interesting one. So now that you are here, right, take a moment. Now, like the broadcast, okay? If you haven't done that already, right, please like the broadcast, then share it also. This is a platform, if this is your first time or second time, this is a platform where you can get something very close to truth. It's like the truth and very, very close to the truth of the reality of what is going on in that contraption. And this season, Mayegun's Diary Politico will actually be your best bet to get first-hand, direct from the source, kind of like info on the political development or happenings in the contraption. So take a moment, like the broadcast, subscribe to my channel, set your notifications on, and you won't regret doing this. Okay, you may, because maybe I should remind you, here, we do not have any sacred cow or something. So the criminals in Nigeria are not spared here. We do not have any respect for them, and we don't do political correctness here, except if you are obedient. And that is for a reason, because we believe that somehow, right, they have the number, and they can be the karma of the establishment. To those of you who always dream of revolution, this revolution, that, you probably can possibly look up to them, because when everything goes down and they get the directive, as some of them would love to be told, right? So yeah, things may actually be what you've been envisaged, like myself. So yeah, like, subscribe, and keep the political correctness to yourself. Abdullahi, he has this to say about their coalition now, what they are. They haven't made up their mind on what is going to be their slogan. If they say ADC, I don't know what you have to say back. But here, it's got something.
The coalition has happened. Then suddenly, this kind of people are crawling out of their dark corners to start saying, oh, they are taking over. Where were you all along? Over 18 months, right? That we've been having conversation with ADC.
Why the choice of ADC though?
Okay, I'll tell you.
Why not SDP?
I'll tell you. You see, when we started this, we had a list of
Options,
parameters and conditionalities, the kind of party we are looking for. Those who came from APC said, no, when we were forming APC, there was a reason, there were agreed principles that led to the formation of APC. Those principles have been inadvertently betrayed, right? Those coming from PDP said, no, we know what PDP stood for. We know what PDP used to be as a political party, a behemoth of a party, right? A Noah's Ark that contained all kinds of human beings, right? But look at what PDP has become today. Those coming from Labour said, this is where we got it wrong, right? Well, so everybody is saying we're unanimous to say, look, if we are going forward with this, we must have a set of agreed principles. And any party we are engaging with must meet those terms and those conditions that will allow us to reorganize and restructure the party in line with the vision that we have, right? So, and what is that vision? You know, I had a story that the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, you know, someone said, oh, why was he not in the US for Trump's inauguration? And he said, the ANC had a meeting. Woe betides you that if the ANC has a meeting and you are going anywhere as a party member, not talk of as a president. So we feel embarrassed that we are not able to, you can't point at any political party in reality that you say this is a political party. Perhaps the political parties of the First and Second Republic were even better in terms of the organizational structure, in terms of the discipline. I mean, if you were a UPN governor, party supremacy, if you were a UPN governor, you know that no matter how incompetent or useless you are, you must pursue free education. basic minimum, right? So how come we are no longer capable of building this kind of parties anymore?
So you saw, so ADC had all of these criteria?
No. We said that's the kind of party we're trying to build. So we're looking for a party that is amenable to this kind of reform.
Or that is weak enough for you to uplift?
Well, if you call a clay weak because you can mold it into a pot, I agree with you, right?
So you found it in ADC?
We found a party that is amenable to the kind of vision, the kind of reform that we had in mind, right? And that is why you see people say, oh, Articles coalition, how ridiculous. John Oyegun will be sitting in a coalition, David Mark will be sitting in a coalition. It's nobody's coalition. It's a coalition of the coalition.
Everybody, high right. Mr. Lawson, Amadi. So out of everything where daily ground, so all the wala where the ground,